The official year-end lists have begun, and we are starting, as always, with the best EPs of the year. I'm delivering to you guys the 5 best EPs of 2022 that I had heard. I don't think I heard quite as many EPs this year as I did last year, so I'm going to give you 5 this time, and I'm going to drop you some honourable mentions too. But before we get in anywhere in this list, anywhere near this list, you have to go check out my Patreon, go support me over there. Lots of great features and lists coming in the next year, so you can be a part of requesting them and having your say in what I do for 2023, and many other things as well, along with all of the perks that you can get with joining me on Patreon. So please go check it out. Please subscribe as well if this is the first ever video you have checked out before from me, because more lists are on the way. So yeah, the 5 best EPs of the year. I want to give you a few honourable mentions before I get into the top 5. I want to give you the first one, Two Shell, which is probably the wackiest and weirdest and most creative electronic EPs you'll hear this year. Tracks like Dust are super elusive and strange, but they have a great knack of just bringing you into a really unique world, and I think this EP was certainly one of the highlights for music this year. Didn't quite make my top 5, but had to be mentioned as an honourable mention, and excited to see where Two Shell goes as well, because there have been other EPs that they've put out that I thought were good as well, so really interested to see where this artist goes in the future, which is one of the main things about EPs. I think it's a nice entry point for an artist, and when you see them explore other things with albums, etc., it can be really interesting to see their growth. So I think Two Shell, a lot of potential with this one. Also, lots of potential with Physical Therapy as well. The track Chain Reaction is an absolute rager of a tune, one of the best two-step garage tracks of the year, with some exceptionally good vocal layering over it as well. This is a really, really good tune, and the whole EP is just full of great tunes as well, as is the Internet Money EP that came out this year. Really excited for Internet Money. I think at any given moment they could drop one of the biggest songs of the year, of the entire year, in all genres, and you could be hearing everything from their stuff on the radio and in the charts. I think there's huge potential with these guys. They might have already hit the charts before. I don't entirely keep up with everything that goes on in the charts, to be honest, but a lot of potential what they do. They're really good with features. They know how to work their music around the feature that come onto their tracks. They cater to their features perfectly well. They've got a great knack for melody and pop tunes and hooks. I think there's big stuff to come for these guys. So yeah, I enjoyed this EP. Alright, starting with number 5, Me Monaco with his EP this year. I really enjoyed this one. I think Lava is one of the most essential house tunes of the year, and to be quite honest with you, he is dropping another EP in February next year, and I'm not going to be surprised if that ends up being one of the best EPs of that year too, because this guy has crazy amounts of talent when it comes to this genre of music. He already released a track from that EP coming out next year, and it sounds crazy, I ain't gonna lie to you. So yeah, this is essentially just an extension of what he gave us on his debut album, which was one of the best albums of 2020, by the way. An absolute undiscovered gem of an album that one was, and yeah, just extending upon that, really delivering some great tunes, and a huge career ahead of this guy. I can feel it. I can feel it, man. I can seriously feel it. This guy could become huge, and he should be already, because the music is already really bloody good. And number 4, an interesting one here from Sun's Signature, self-titled EP from them. A bit out of nowhere, this one. An art pop, chamber pop, ethereal sounding stuff coming out of this band, and let me tell you right now, it is blissful. This sounds super blissful, and there is so much potential with this sound that they can take forward onto an album, because let me tell you right now, I think when they do, it's over for all of you bitches. I think it would be an album that gets raved about, because this sound, this sort of shoegazy sound that they bring to the table, mixing and combining with other things as well, I think it's got a lot of potential. I really do. I think it could be huge for these guys, and this was a really good EP. At times I'm reminded of Popple which is a band that whenever I reference is only a good thing because they have one of my favourite albums of all time. So anything that reminds me a little bit of that, along with Wise Blood, Julia Holter and other artists as well, that this reminds me a little bit of. Yeah, this is good stuff, and oh my god, when their album comes out, I think it's going to be massive. Yune Pinku at number 3. This is one of the best EPs of the year in my opinion, due to the fact that Yune Pinku has a really nice voice that works well with these sort of two-step garagey tunes. The track, Jesus Christ, the track Bluff is fantastic, one of the best tunes of the year for sure, and I'm liking what Yune is bringing to the table here. I think it's a really good sort of attempt at doing this sound really well and doing it justice as well, and this EP has a lot of likability about it. I think the vocals work really well. I think the beats are really good too. I just think this is a really replayable, fun EP that you can't really say no to. Not a million miles off my number 2 pick as well, Dirty Bird. This is a great EP. Love this thing, man. The track The Question is fantastic as well. The melody on Effect is so good. Oh, it's so good. Such a good tune. And once again, doing the garage two-step sound justice, like crazy justice, this EP. So replayable. I got into an addictive mode of just playing this over and over again at one point over during the summer times. So good. And again, this artist has put out an album before, and that was a really good album, and I think they've honed in on this garage sound even more than they did before, and they are doing it so bloody well, and it is great. And I am so impressed with how repetitive some of these tracks are. They loop over and over, but they never get old, they never get stale. Some of the vocals coming through sound fantastic as well. Yeah, this is a great artist here with bags of potential, and this was easily a contender for being EP of the year. It really was. I was so close to picking this, but ultimately I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because there's one more just slightly better, and yeah, it had to be given to someone else, I'm afraid. And if you follow this channel closely, you will know that we stan Dora Jar in this house, and we will forever stan Dora Jar in this house, wherever I live, because this is a truly great artist here that is just one of the best out there at the moment in the indie pop world. I think she is bringing bags of charisma, bags of personality to the vocals on every track she puts out there. I don't necessarily think the lyrics are always super inventive or super, thought-provoking and mind-boggling. Whoa, it's never anything like that. But what she does do is she brings character to everything she says. And that is one of the most important things that I think a singer-songwriter can bring. She, in some ways, reminds me a little bit of how I feel about Regina Spektor. Regina Spektor is a fantastic songwriter, but she doesn't always have to say the most amazing things to sell what she's saying. And I think that's what Dora Jar does best. She has a really cute personality that comes through on every track she puts out, and this EP just proves that perfectly. I think It's Random is a fantastic track. Tiger Face is brilliant. Lagoon. This is a star in the making. I think it's a star in the making. I really do. I think there's potential for one of her songs to really take off on TikTok or something like that, and she could be the next it girl in the world of singer-songwriter music, because she has that about her. She has that quality about her. And I think considering how many indie singer-songwriters are really growing at the moment, getting a lot of love, getting a lot of appreciation, Mitski, Phoebe Bridgers, and many others as well, I don't see why Dora Jar, who has a better knack for pop music writing than those artists that I just mentioned there, couldn't be a part of that list and couldn't be as big as those names. And if it weren't for the fact that this EP is so good, she gave us a loose single, Bumblebee, a few months after, and proved to us once again that she is still doing this so well. Like, what a great track that is. So yeah, anything she's putting out at the moment, I'm straight on there, straight on checking it out, because I think there's a lot to love about her music, man. Bag as a personality, I think she's brilliant, and yeah, she hasn't even put out an album yet, and these are all the positive things I'm saying about her already. She hasn't even done an album yet. Do an album, please. So that's my EP of the year. I think if you are following this channel on a regular basis and have seen me talk about her before, that probably wouldn't have been too surprising, but please check it out, as well as all of the other EPs I've mentioned in this video as well, because I think they're all worth your time, and they all bring something a little bit different to one another to the table. There aren't really two EPs that sound the same on this list, and like I say, please check them all out. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please tell me what your EPs of the year are. If there's any I've missed that you would recommend, or you think that are deserving of being mentioned on a list like this, then please let me know, because I might not have heard it, and I'd love to see what you guys have to offer. So thank you as always. Thank you for watching. The lists are coming thick and fast now. We've got best songs, we've got best albums on the way, so if you haven't already subscribed, please do, and you will see some more recommendations coming your way in the next few days in the form of lists. Have a good day and goodbye.